Warning, this podcast contains spoilers.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for Marvel's Jessica Jones series discussion. I was going to say discussion series, but I guess both work. I'm your host, Clio, and with me I have John. Or John has himself and is with us. And Mike.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know
I,
either.
too, am confused.
I'm sorry, it was we just did The Walking Dead, and you said, no, you don't have me. And I thought
These
of that
things
again.
occur in a vacuum.
Yeah.
And vacuums clean your house.
I, however, do not occur in a vacuum. Sorry.
That's good, because we wouldn't be able to hear you speaking.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
There's no sound in vacuum.
Mine
Jessica
goes...
Jones is amazing.
Sorry.
I was actually trying to think of something like that.
See,
Jessica
this is
Jones.
relevant, because Jessica mentions at one point that she'll
beat you with my
I will
vacuum.
beat you with my vacuum.
No. Kilgrave's gonna make you beat yourself with a vacuum.
We both know you don't own a vacuum.
Yeah.
So that was relevant.
It was relevant.
Sorry.
Wrapped it away.
We did it, guys. So, I mean, it's been a while since we did our, let's... First impressions. God, my brain. And I don't believe either of you... Oh, no. Wait, who was with us for first impressions?
Wasn't me.
Not me.
Neither of you. So I think it was me and Dom and Erica and Rachel. Who, I guess, didn't like it as much as us, so that's fine.
Which just doesn't make any fucking sense, but...
I mean...
It's a much tougher show than any of the other stuff Marvel's done. It's a lot of, like, real issues. And, like,
Yeah.
it's dark. It's like a real darkness.
It's a real darkness, and I found myself sitting, because... I'm going to admit, I just finished it a couple weeks ago myself. I'm a little late to the ball game. But I found myself thinking about it more than, a few occasions in the past 2 weeks. Because it's like, all of a sudden this comes up and I remember, certain parts like, oh, wow. So, like, because, I mean, it's a really good show for, like any victim of any kind of abuse of any sort, really. Like,
Yeah.
It showcases that. I'm like, oh, my God. It was doing it in her situation. And then, who the fuck's other situation? I don't know. Carry on. But I've been thinking about it multiple times through the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's... I mean, I think I like it even without that stuff, but...
I should have wrote it down. I had an epiphany.
It's a straight-up good mystery action show, but you tack on, some real issues that the world is experiencing, and that just made it all the better for me. I mean, I think it was a good platform for women, that show, flat out. I mean, I think it was a great thing for people for the world to see that, this is what abuse looks like. This is what happens to people. She's a superhero and she's not dealing with it well. It's okay for you to not be dealing with it well.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, you should probably go get some help, but don't drink yourself into a fucking stupor every night.
Oh my God.
But
she can twist a dude's head clean off, and she's having issues. So
yeah. Right. And I think that's really important for people to see that, like, the world's not perfect, and you don't have to be perfect. It's okay. You can have all your flaws and still be a person.
Yeah, because there's literally not a single, forget perfect, put together person in this show.
Yeah.
No one's put together.
No one at all, really.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of
Trish,
one.
who was arguably the most put together person.
Was really still not very.
Yeah.
No, childhood demons there.
Yeah, I mean, everyone had lots of different demons.
I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just be that funny, contrary person to bring up one character who had it all together, and I just can't find one.
I mean, even Hogarth, who probably had the most the
Yeah.
most problems of anybody. She's the honestly, I think the most fucked up. Aside from Kilgrave, obviously Kilgrave is
Oh,
the most
she's a
fucked.
messed up lady.
But
She was actually just so you guys know, in the comic books, her character was actually a male, and they
Mm.
made a decision to make her a female for this
which
show,
let's talk
which
about
was cool.
her for a sec, because I think she's
Sherry.
super interesting as a character and as a woman character, because she's exactly like all those like those men with the go
Male
between
lawyers.
wife go from wife, yeah, all
Yes.
those male lawyers,
Powerful male
yes,
lawyers.
powerful male
Yeah.
lawyers who will go from wife to wife just like that,
Just
and
yep.
it's what she does. And I was rewatching the series, and I'm just like, you're just a douchebag.
I think their whole point with showcasing there is you don't have to be a man to have that personality type.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because like in
Yeah.
everything we've seen, that that role, the going through wife to wife, powerful lawyer figure who's a partner at the firm, right,
yeah,
is always a guy.
yeah, and I think it's very
Yeah.
interesting.
It's always a straight
Yeah.
guy. I
Yes.
should put it that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now we have a not straight woman, and it's like,
Mhm.
yeah,
She
same
just
thing.
tears the chicks like tissue paper.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so funny, because she was going to propose to Pam at the restaurant she proposed to her ex at.
Yeah.
That's what was going to
Why?
happen before it got interrupted.
And it
And
was
it's just like, what kind of person are
there
you?
was that exact moment when it
Yeah.
really hit me how screwed up of a person she
Yeah.
was. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm getting it. All the main characters in this show have their demons. They have their issues. But that was like where it really slapped me upside the head. Like, whoa.
I mean,
Like,
yeah. And what was different is she was making a deliberate choice to be a prick. You
reuse
know.
and recycle.
You know, like she wasn't. Well, all right. I guess we don't know her history, but
Yeah.
or really what their marriage was actually like. We don't. You know, we have two unreliable narrators talking about their marriage, so we don't really know the nature of their relationship. But it's just like that was. She was out and out just a prick. She
Yeah.
was just out of her way being mean to people, and I don't think, as far as I can really tell, I don't think anyone else was really like that. Everyone had like kind of a reason, or at least trauma to link to what they were doing now, you know?
Yeah.
But fucking Jerry. We gotta ditch Jerry.
You could ditch Jerry.
Ditch Jerry.
Yeah, ditch Jerry.
Although Jerry got ditched, so really it all ended up being fine.
I
So
mean,
She got ditched. Her partners were forcing her out.
mhm.
Yeah.
cut up a lot.
Okay, her ex cut her up, and then her ex died. Who she ditched her ex for ditched her and is facing a murder rap. And then, yeah, it's all just spiraled out of control for her.
Yeah, her
Oh,
life
yeah.
is just in shambles at this point. Whereas the other people who were hurt, their lives are sort of recovering.
Yeah.
I was just I really, really wanted Matt Murdock to like serve her papers for something.
God, yeah.
I was really hoping for that.
Like, and I was given the impression that there would be, I knew, I was told there was going to be a Daredevil crossover. It turns out that it was, what's her name, Claire.
Claire.
Yes.
So I was happy for that, but I was expecting like Matt Murdock to show up at some point, even for just 30 seconds.
I was
even-
thinking like he would come in as was that Pam, the woman she was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking he was like show up at like the last minute as Pam's like defender instead of Jerry, and it would have been really funny, but I guess not.
Well, for anyone who doesn't know how we do these Marvel Netflix shows, is we're gonna save our MCU tie-in discussions for Thursday's podcast.
Right, for another
So we're gonna do all those sort of tie-ins, future stuff in the next podcast. So we will talk a lot more about Claire.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we'll mention her because she is in the show, and there's a lot of interesting things that had to do with these characters. Um, but that's a little bit later. Um, I liked how they like showed Jessica Jones, you know, all the she's got a bunch of different like sides and of who she is. And I think my favorite was them showing how she's a really deep down a good person. Like, she's just a good person. She wants to do the right thing. She just might not want to be a hero, but I think there's a big part of her that really does, and she's just covering that up with alcohol.
I mean, it was a really, you know, when she tried, as she put it, I'm going to try the whole hero thing. It was really reluctant.
Yeah.
In the first place. It took some goading from Trish to even do anything in the first place.
Yeah. I mean
And yeah, we saw how that turned out.
yeah. But when Kilgrave first Kilgraved her, and he asked her why she was doing superhero, she's like, I want to make a difference. That was her truth,
Mm-hmm.
and that was her answer.
Yeah, that was a truthful answer.
Wanted to make a difference. And she still does. She's just really drunk now when she does it.
Yeah.
Well,
Not always.
she wasn't always doing the right thing. I mean, she was
No.
stalking
Stalking Luke, yes.
Luke. You know,
Some
and being
weird
very
part of her
dishonest.
brain thought that she was trying to make things right.
Yeah, and she just got caught up in some stuff that she just
Yeah.
didn't really have a grasp of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I get that, but like, you know, yes, she did want to be a hero, but I guess I mean the whole conflict of the show is like her being a hero got people hurt. So,
Mm-hmm.
can she really do that?
Her being a hero got people hurt, but at the same time, it wasn't entirely her fault.
No, but
it made
you know,
her it made her vulnerable to getting Kilgraved, and then Kilgrave is a verb, guys.
Yes.
If you didn't know.
Kilgravid.
Yeah.
Put her in a position.
Right. It put the people around her in a position to get Kilgrave.
Mm-hmm.
And she was obviously not comfortable with that. And why would you be? Because this psychopath who can control minds can destroy your entire life if he wants to, and the people you love. You know, and he routinely did so to people. So, you know, you have
for
very
little,
good reason.
Yeah, for little to no reason.
Yeah, and that gave her a very good reason to pull away from people. But, you know, again, like any other victim of abuse, where their abuser tells them, like, I'll find you, I'll get you, you know, you'll never get away from me.
Yeah.
You know, that's a very real fear that they're going to hurt the people you love. They're going to hurt your family, and they're going to hurt, you know, anyone that you come into contact with.
Right.
So,
it's a very real fear, and a real fear made worse because it actually happened in a few cases.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this literally happened to her.
Yeah, he got her neighbor strung out, you know, to spy on him, to spy on her, and he sent a cop out. You know, I forget the cop's name after Trish, and
Simpson.
Sent Simpson after Trish, and then eventually it's just like, all right, you know what? No, better yet, you're gonna take the photos now of you every day, and send them to me.
Well, and then I mean, him doing stuff for little to no reason. He killed Ruben just because he said he was in love with Jessica, and because he thought he was annoying. Like, I mean, the reason he gave Jessica why he killed him was because he was annoying. And it's like, you're just a tiny child with...
Well, a jealous tiny child.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With this crazy power.
I mean, crazy power. He did have that one episode where he engendered a little bit of sympathy from the viewer. But that was, you know, quickly flushed down the toilet. There was that moment where it was like, yeah, you know what? I could feel bad for him in a different situation. Like this.
Are you referring to his backstory?
Yeah, a little bit.
What happened to him when he was a child?
His backstory, and you know, as he put it, he's like, you know, having to go through life carefully picking and choosing every single word, agonizing over every word that comes out of your mouth. I off the cuff told a guy to go screw himself. You can imagine how that turned out. I mean, I laughed at that, but then I thought to myself, like, oh god, that would really suck. Just any little quick, you know, off the cuff jab you make at somebody could be taken literally, and they wind up and go try to screw themselves.
Yes, whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever that means exactly.
Ugh. Don't want to
I
think about
mean,
it.
right. I mean, and that's, yeah, it is sort of a burden if you view it that way. Like, I can't give a command to any other human being on the planet. You know, they'll
Mm.
do it. If I tell some guy to fuck off, he's gonna do whatever that means.
Yeah.
Like it and that one episode where he was, Jessica took him and was like, no, do good, be good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll like
Tried
it.
to make him into a decent
Into a
person.
hero, or at least, yeah, or at least a
Yeah.
decent person.
Forget a
That
hero,
was even,
decent person.
yeah, like, you look what you could be doing. You could, like, help in hostage negotiations. You could save people's lives. You could
Yeah.
get prisoners released like this. You know,
There was a
it was a
moment.
glimpse. It was a glimpse of what could have been,
Yeah,
and
but
I did
think he's
appreciate
just.
that.
Yeah,
But
no,
he's too far gone.
yeah. That's definitely true. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's just been in it so long, and like when he was trying to get the house and do everything legitimately, he's like he's just like, I want to tell you to
It's
do
like, I
stuff.
just want to tell you to take the money. Fuck. He's like, I no, I just want to tell you to pack
Jeez.
your shit up and get the fuck out of your own house. But he's like, here's twice what your house is worth.
Yeah. uh but yeah, it's like he could be, but the fact who he is stopping him from being anything like a decent
Obsessed
person.
weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And that's the thing, is he, really did believe that she loved him and that it was real,
Yeah.
and that she was
It's
there of
your
her own free
favorite
will.
dish. No, it's your
No, it's
favorite
not.
dish.
It's
It
your.
makes
You
me
told me
sick.
to like it.
Yeah.
I mean, and like, to go. I mean, when they revealed that he replicated her whole house, I was just like, my jaw just hit the fucking floor. I was like, I cannot. I can't deal with this. I cannot.
That's a level of psychosis that is staggering.
Yeah. I mean, it was
That is one complete delusion.
mega delusion. Yeah. Uh, Mind-bogglingly delusional.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Mine can convince you of some crazy shit. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Oh no, you're absolutely right. I mean,
Yeah.
but you know, and I got the impression, like, this show could have ended at least 5 times before it actually
Oh yeah.
ended.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
like, it could have just, like, stopped there and been like, okay, cool, all right,
hmm
season one's over. But
Honestly, I think the
yeah,
ending was so perfect. And I think and still very sad. Well, no, and I'm not just talking about Kilgrave dying. The last scene we see is her getting all these calls, but she's sitting there drinking alcohol. Like she doesn't want all this responsibility she's got now.
It's like showing that, yes, the main source of her torment is gone. Like,
Yeah.
she had, they go into, like, she had all of these issues because of Kilgrave. He's out there, and, she's afraid to walk around any corner, and she drinks herself into a coma almost every night because of what he did to her. He's gone. Never has to worry about that again. Her friends are safe, her family's safe, she is safe from that. Yet, now, all these, she's still not over it, is basically what they're showing in
Yeah.
that end scene. Like,
Well,
it's still
also,
gonna
yeah.
fuck with her.
Yeah, also it's showing that it's over, but it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Still
still
happened.
something she hasn't fully dealt with. And it's still something that's haunting her.
yeah, and
Not just what happened to her, but what she's done.
yeah, and that's the way trauma works. Your abuser can go to jail. They can die. They can be gone forever. But I'm still sure that night she probably had a nightmare about him, and she's going to continue to have to deal with those things. And that's the thing, is it's not the person who hurt you anymore. It's actually you who needs to do all the work and get better.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks because you're burdened with that, and you didn't ask for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really funny. It just made me think of this now. Like, hey, go see a therapist. And she's like, therapists suck. They're stupid. Shrinks are stupid. And then she uses a therapeutic technique to help the young woman who was killgraved.
Yes.
Think about your
Well,
street names. Where do you live? Like, what, tell me, like, center you. Literally using a psychological exercise to help her center herself, which she uses repeatedly, and says that psychology is bullshit. And I'm like,
Psychology is bullshit. Yet you use a
fuck you.
psychological technique
well,
4 times an episode.
I think someone, probably Trish, after it happened the first time, made her go to therapy, made her
Of
see someone.
course, of course.
And that one thing out of all the therapy she's ever had was the thing that worked.
Which may not have been much.
It's true.
I'm
That's
gonna
very
say.
true.
It could have been one
But
session.
it
She
seems to
seems
be
like a 2-visit and quit it.
Oh yeah. But that's probably the only thing that worked. And she's taken that and she's used it all these years. I don't think she equates it with therapy anymore.
No.
I think it's just a thing,
Yeah,
a
sounds
tool
just
she
a thing.
uses. But yeah, no, it's
Right, it's a patch, on a
Yeah.
gaping wound. But I think, to go further with that, the irony that, like, she would use her street names as her safety net, and then to have her home turned into like another nightmare for her was very very well written and very striking. So I was like, oh my, because
and yeah, and they revealed it in the best way.
well, they just showed the corner.
They showed the
They just showed the
corner,
street side.
and it's just like,
Because that
Fuck
whole
you.
time I'm like, what the hell? Like, you want a house? Like, in
Yeah.
a suburban neighborhood? What are you tired of, like, city life? What's going on here? Like, you want the white picket fence? You could convince a billionaire to give you his penthouse mansion. Like, you could own the top 3 floors of the fanciest building in New York City if you wanted to. But you're going for this little house?
You said penthouse mansion, and I literally imagined a penthouse in a skyscraper, but with a mansion on top of it.
He could have that. He could
He could have
convince.
that.
He
He
could
convinced an
Airlift
architect to
mansion
do
on
it.
He can get the codes pushed through, like the permits. He can easily get all of that. But
Yeah.
and that
You're
was
not
so
wrong.
brilliant because that whole episode, I'm like, why do you want this little slice of suburban, American dream here? And then it just zooms out and it's those 2 streets. I'm like, oh, you dick.
Yeah, no,
My exact
I
reaction.
mean, he saw that as some romantic gesture to get her on his side and love him, and what he really did was take away the last defense she had mentally against him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then she realized, I actually have all the mental defenses I need because I'm immune to his virus.
Yeah.
Which I'm
Oopsie.
amazed it took how many episodes to figure out. But
Almost all of them, right?
he played it
But
really smart, though.
He never told her to do anything.
But
That's true.
because he figured it out, as he put it. He's
No,
like,
he didn't.
well, he said at one point, I suspected.
He suspected it. Yeah.
And he figures, you know what? I suspect it. I really don't want to confirm that.
Yeah.
Because if I
Yeah,
confirm it,
that's true.
if I confirm it to me, it confirms it to her, and then I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Like,
then
so
I'm dead.
he from his point of view, as dickish as it was, he played it really smart in just hanging that fear over her, because the second he gave her an order and she wasn't compelled to follow it, broken. The whole spell was broken. She didn't need to be as afraid of him anymore.
Yeah. Well, at least in terms of herself, but he quickly, used Luke against her.
Right, he did, which,
Which was terrifying.
Was heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
We'll get to Luke in a second.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had something else to say about Kilgrave. I freaking forgot. Dang it. Douchebag brain. I don't know. Were you saying something about Kilgrave?
I mean, he I guess really more to talk about like what he put his father through, trying to make himself more powerful, and that whole last arc of the show was nerve-wracking because you didn't know what his range got increased, the duration of his control got increased, so like he was incredibly more powerful, and really clever. He got so clever because he had Luke that whole time towards the end, and
Yeah.
But he commanded
you
Luke to play it off.
right, like he could command someone to pretend like none of this was real, which is like so insanely complex
Yeah.
because he has to set up such a system of checks and balances to make that work. It's so
But I mean,
crazy.
he made it work with hope.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he made it work with hope as well.
He made it work, yeah, because she seemed perfectly fine, and it's like
until
I mean,
she pulled out a
it's a
gun and
very
shot her
specific
parents.
command. I mean, you can't tell anybody about this, but the next time you're alone with your parents, you're gonna kill them. And maybe just add a couple of little addendums to it there, and that's really all he needed to do.
Yeah,
Assuming that she was around her parents within the next 12 hours at the time.
right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just seemed like with Luke, there had to be so many contingencies set up, like if Jessica said this, this, and this, ignore that. She's gonna test you for this, so do this instead. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Give her this little
I
speech
don't
he
know.
made up.
Right? Yeah. Oh, God, it's
Yeah,
just
that
so
was
gross.
that was probably one of the most fucked up things.
Mm.
It's like this heartfelt speech she thought was Luke.
But
It's still grave.
the terrifying thought was like, but he was gone from you for 12 hours. It's like, it was up to 16 at that point. 24 now. And 100 yards. Like, oh, God, you can influence, like, an entire fucking football field. Like,
Yeah.
that's just scary.
Yeah. It's messed up.
It's really messed up. Like,
Um,
and that's why at the end it was so, kind of nerve-wracking, because he got pissed, he screamed, stop, and, Jessica actually stopped, and I'm like, oh, God, no.
yeah.
No. Not now.
Oh, and he got so like proud of himself, like, "Oh, it works on you now." What?
Well, he was
And then he
doubtful.
did gross shit to Trish again,
Oh,
and I was just like, "Hey,
oh.
stop it,
Well,
He was...
stop."
that's what cinched it. That's what made him think it worked because he didn't get a rise out of her when he did all that stuff to Trish.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he kept going, like, I want to believe it. I want to believe it, but, stop with the act, really.
Yeah.
Smile. She smiles. Say, do this, do that, and then to say I love you. And, like, well played, Jessica.
Yeah. Then whoop.
Mm-hmm.
No more neck.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about Luke now.
I like Luke.
I fucking love Luke. Luke, they did such a good job with Luke, and Michael Coulter is just amazing.
Yeah.
Really very good.
And is that the next series they're debuting, or is Iron Fist coming
No,
first?
Iron Fist is coming.
Iron
Iron
Fist is
Fist
coming
is
Yeah.
first. Okay.
Yeah, Iron Fist is next.
But then
we're
Luke.
getting-
But then Luke Cage.
Then Luke.
I'm fine with this.
Me too.
Yeah.
But I swear, I know that bar. I swear I've been to that bar in
there.
real life before. I think it's like just north of Houston. I think I know where that bar is. And if I took an afternoon, I could find it.
Yeah. Well, it blew
Like
up,
every
honey,
time
it's
they
not
go to
there.
Luke's bar, I'm like, I know that bar.
It's like, I know that place.
No, they blew it up. It's gone.
It's gone, yeah. It blew
Alright.
up. When anything that happens in movies happens in real life, you know that. That bar's gone.
Durr.
It's an insurance payout.
Oh yeah. Oh, but oh god, it's just Luke's whole arc in this is just like heartbreaking.
Oh, yeah.
From his wife to Jessica lying and trying to cover it up, and it's just like, oh god.
That whole, like, okay, you have pictures of Luke. Why do you have pictures of Luke? I don't get this. All right, his wife died, and it comes up that she was hit by a bus. She died in the bus accident. I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
God, that's really gotta suck. And now you're fucking him, too? Really?
Like, what were you thinking?
And then,
Yeah.
when
We
they
know what you were thinking.
Yeah, and then they reveal later that, no, it wasn't the bus accident.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That was even worse.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Although I will say, I do to back up a little bit. I did like how they introduced themselves to each other. Like, how'd you get your powers? Government experiment. How about you? Military
Accident,
thing.
government experiment. It's like,
But I was just like, it was cool, because like I don't think any normal human being would like, uh, let me delve into my backstory. Okay, let's flash back real quick. So it was 1987, and I
It was 19.
like,
Yeah.
no fucking, who gives a shit? We're eating pizza.
yeah. And it's like, oh, where did you go to college? And you say like a one-line thing about it. It's like that's how they exchanged that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like really super normal.
very
Because then
matter
I
of
feel
fact.
like they're kind of like the first, not the first, obviously not the first for Jessica, but similar powers,
Hmm.
meeting someone with similar powers. Um, you know, and they just
Unbreakable skin.
And they
says the man
boned a
with
lot.
unbreakable skin.
That is
They boned a whole lot.
Oh yeah.
that is a pretty decent power to have. I'll say that.
He
Yeah.
took a shotgun blast to the fucking chest and was like, meh.
Oh, that was the face.
Oh, the face. That's
He
right.
took a
Yeah,
shotgun
shot in
blast
the
under the
face.
chin. Yeah, it
Yeah.
knocked
Yeah.
him out.
It
That
knocked
was
him out. He was alive.
his skin is impenetrable, but concussive force is still going to affect him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, his brain was swollen, so.
Well, yeah, that nothing going to
I
stop that.
I and I loved the whole him in the hospital and Claire and Jessica getting him out. I I loved that whole sequence. Um and I can't even remember because I it reminded me every time like a super powered person and they try to put needles in them. It reminds me of like old there was an old Justice League cartoon. I think it was Superman or Aquaman. I don't know. They tried to stick him with a needle and it broke. I don't know. I just love that shit. Yeah, just broke. It's like, huh?
Ain't gonna work.
No,
I absolutely love it because Claire immediately knew what was going on. And she's like convinced the doctor to like leave. It's like just go away.
Just fucking leave. Don't ask me
Just
any
leave.
more
It's all
questions.
right. Go get another one. It's fine. We gotta get him out of here.
damn it.
Yeah. And she was like just her perfectly awesome self in
Oh,
this
of
show.
course.
I love that I love what she did.
Yeah, and
She's used to it by now.
I
She
was gonna
sewed
say
up Matt
she was
Murdock
just
how
like,
many
yeah,
times?
fucking
Like,
whatever, man.
God, this. It's like she's probably thinking the whole time, like, wow, I really wish Matt had this power. I wouldn't have to sew up shit.
yeah, and I just her wit because she's very sarcastic.
Hmm.
Just fit perfectly with like Jessica and
Because they're both sarcastic.
oh my
It was
God,
like,
their dynamic was fantastic.
it's
It's
like
just the way they met. Like
sarcasm tennis.
she was like straddling Luke during his seizure. She's like, "Excuse me, what are you doing with him?" I just want to know.
Just inquiring minds.
Just wondering what you're doing on there. Um, yeah, that was really funny.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that was like that was a good payoff, I guess, because of like it's like okay, they're like blocks away from each other.
Hold them
When's it
down.
gonna happen?
Yeah.
Like when are they gonna meet?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to tell
Yeah.
me
Because
that you haven't run into the devil of Hell's Kitchen before. You
Which I'm
probably one of,
shocked they haven't.
like, you, one of the few people who could probably kick his ass.
mm,
Like,
Just punch him into next week.
like, yes,
yeah.
he's much better fighter than you, but if you could, he's had people have landed blows on him. All you got to do is land one blow, and he's going across the fucking street alley.
She's. I
Done.
mean,
He's in a building.
yeah.
Like
He can
I don't
take
even
the
know.
hits. She can throw them.
I don't even know if we've seen how strong she actually is yet. That's the thing. Because
I
we saw
mean,
her jump. She can jump really high. We know that.
really fucking high.
But like,
She
I
stopped
don't.
a moving
Think
car.
well, yeah, with no effort.
Yeah.
Like he
Exactly.
he sped off.
Right.
He like went to speed off, and she grabbed him by the
Oh,
bumper and
yeah,
lifted the
lifted her.
Mercedes with one
Like
arm.
she wasn't trying though. That's my
Yeah, with
thing.
one arm.
That
But I
was
mean, I
no
think
effort.
we saw her trying against Luke when she had to fight Luke. I mean,
Mhm.
she wasn't.
But I want to say part of her was still holding back.
I think so too. I would agree. But I think that's the most physically we got
The
from her.
most,
The thing
yeah.
about it is, her powers are physical, but she was fighting a mental battle most of the time.
Right.
Which is why
Right.
this was the perfect, I
it,
guess,
it was
setup
a,
because all of her
yeah.
powers are physical.
It was also a
Yeah.
great dynamic between
Mm-hmm.
a villain and a hero, which is why Lex Luthor and Superman work so well.
Right, because, her powers are all physical. His powers are all mental.
Yeah.
I mean, as far
Right.
as physical powers go, he's just an ordinary guy. Like, he's not, some super physically fit athlete or anything. He's just a normal, average schmuck.
And I
Yeah.
mean that's something that the doctor, shoot, I forget his name, who operated on him,
Mm-hmm.
Kilgrave,
Right.
gave him the kidneys. That's something that he was saying. He's like, that guy has the willpower like I've never seen, because that's all mental. He
Yeah.
kept himself going by sheer force of will.
Sheer force of will while having
Yeah.
his kidneys replaced while he's awake.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
In an epidural. It's like,
I'm
what?
sorry. Yeah.
What?
Local anesthetic and epidurals only go so far.
Yeah.
This guy, I'm sorry, he is cutting your kidneys out.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's the thing is like as strong as Jessica was, it showed people like, you can still be hurt.
Yes.
She's probably like the strongest woman alive on the planet. And she was still able to be hurt so very deeply. And I think that was, again, very important because it can happen
We
to
can all-
anybody.
Yeah.
Superpowers or not.
Yeah, hey,
know?
coming next season, who knows? All bets are off. You're like, oh, how'd you get your superpowers? Oh, I took an omega-3 supplement. I ate fish oil.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be the new
That's
conversation
gonna be the new
piece.
normal. Yeah.
Lots of antioxidants.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we get into
Yeah,
John
I know.
doesn't watch Shield. When the Inhumans get to be, widespread.
Because as far as I know, these timelines are fairly concurrent right now. Or at least they will be really soon. And S.H.I.E.L.D. has me leading to believe that there are a fuck ton of new superpowered people out there now.
Yes, definitely.
Like, on the scale of hundreds, if not thousands. So
yeah, we'll definitely talk more about that.
I know we're going to talk more about that. I'm just saying, like,
no, totally.
They gotta start showing up.
Yeah, and that was something I was thinking about because I think this takes place right as
Mm-hmm.
the Inhumans start popping up, so it's like still being kept quiet.
Right. It's
So not too many. Not the public doesn't know yet,
Mhm.
but it's still happening.
Will
at the same
soon.
time. It will soon. Exactly.
Mm.
Should we move on to Officer Douchebag?
Oh please, let's get on to him.
Oh my God. So here's the thing. Hated him immediately, even when like Trish was all nice with
Getting
him.
munched on.
They were
as it were.
boning. Munched.
Was a snack.
Was
Yeah,
a snack.
Even then, I was like, "Oh, you're still a douchebag." Because like after, because Jessica came in and he was being all like overbearing and like,
I'm a man.
I know what to do because I have Black Ops. I know this. This is my plan. And
It's like, hey,
Jessica's
I run a 6-minute
Shut
mile.
up.
It's like I run a 6-minute mile. That's impressive. Mine's under 4. I have
Mine's under 4.
superpowers.
Yeah.
But his face at that, it was like you could hear the balloon that is his ego go. Like,
Yeah.
all right, fine. You carry the unconscious guy.
And as it went on, I was like, all right, Simpson has to get better because, he's with Trish. I mean, he can't stay douchebag. And then he just keeps being a douchebag right till the very end. And it's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
And he took his pills,
Oh my God.
just like the doctor ordered.
Why do I have a feeling that, that's what got Jessica her powers? Like, Jessica was the successful version of that doctor's experiments.
Well, I mean,
It would make that would make sense.
Like,
the
she
only
was the
thing is
perfect
she got
mix.
it from an accident.
Well, yes, but according to Trish's mom, things were done to her when she was under treatment.
Oh, okay.
They're all in her files. So I'm guessing
right,
that,
I remember that.
like, because Simpson needs to take the red pill to power up, the white pills to keep him even out, and then the blue pill to come down.
And he just took all the red pills.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
My guess is that Jessica, when he was formulating these, pills or whatever, she was the right mix for whatever reason. She's got the strength effects, she's evened out, and she doesn't need to come down.
Yeah.
But on to Simpson, because he took all the red pills.
Just
Oh
all
my
of them at
God.
once.
You take one of these and then 2 of the white ones. You mean take 4 red ones? Did I hear
Yeah,
that right? Yeah, I heard
that's
that
totally
right.
what he
And
said.
never a blue?
Oh, I'm not going to need another blue pill for 12 hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
he clearly had so many problems before he got the pills, and then once he
Right.
got the pills, it's
Just
like,
a few. They were amped because you saw how Trish was on there. It's like, I'm pumped.
oh yeah.
Let's do
I
this.
can't breathe.
I like she's like, I feel great, and then she like falls on the ground. It's like, oh no, Trish, you can't die. Don't die, Trish.
It's
Oh,
like, I
that
feel
was
great.
scary.
Yeah,
I
it
was
was.
so scared.
Your brain is gonna forget how to Your brain's gonna forget to tell you to breathe.
Yeah, how does that happen?
That's a good side effect.
How the fuck?
There's a few methods by which that can happen, but I don't know which one they went with.
Yeah.
But he was a good side villain, I suppose.
Yeah.
He was a good
Yeah.
a side
More
villain.
like a yeah. I don't even know if I would call him a villain.
Well, after those pills took effect, he was
After
full
those
on
Oh,
villain.
pills, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. He was interesting, to say the least.
Just a bit.
He was. I mean, at first he was trying to help, but immediately became a douchebag.
Yeah.
And you know,
It was the
he
desire
has
to
a
do
lot of
more.
flaws.
He had a lot of flaws. It was the desire to do more because I think he felt that he couldn't help enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he just drove himself to like, well, I have this great idea. Let's drugs today.
Let's drugs.
Lots of
Let's
roids.
drugs.
Nom, 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 nom.
Yeah, he was. I mean, obviously he's coming back. If when there's a season 2 for this, because he's not dead.
Yeah.
So
Is he in a coma? What happened? I forget. I'm sorry.
I think
My
he
memory-
just left.
He just dipped.
Yeah, he
I think he
dipped.
just left.
Okay.
Yeah, he just
He
left
just dipped.
after the apartment fight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, he's a character in the comics called Nuke.
Yes.
Right.
He has an American flag tattooed to his face, which I'm glad they didn't go with.
Yeah.
So
His
Oh,
version of
that's-
the comics reminds me of Captain Hatred, or from Venture Brothers.
We
yeah.
We have Sean
Not
Shells
Captain
in
Hatred.
chat saying his name is Nuke. He has 2 hearts, and you need 2 hearts to regulate the pills.
Maybe he'll show up next time with 2 hearts.
It'll just be stapled to his fucking cheek.
Oh God, that'd be
Great.
hilarious.
Hey, that's what they did to Jessica. They found some drifter and shoved another heart in her, and she just hasn't figured that out.
I think she'd know.
I think she
knows.
would have figured that out by now. Yes, I know, but
But I think that was cool, but like that whole fight scene in the apartment,
Oh
like
yeah.
she was too hurt to deal with him because broken ribs and all.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool that Trish finally got to like step up and be the hero for once.
mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's
albeit
what-
at risk of her health, but
Yeah.
she was able to physically fight instead of she obviously used her medium, which is her talk show, to the best of her abilities.
Yeah.
Which is cool, and obviously moral support. And she trained herself, but this time it was like, no, I could beat a supervillain now. I can kick his ass
Mm-hmm.
for
And
5 or so minutes.
And she did.
Yeah. And the hero thing was what was always what Trish wanted.
Mhm.
I mean, yes, Jessica did want to also do it. Otherwise, she wouldn't have done it. You can't make Jessica do anything she doesn't want to do.
Right, but Trish would have been the full-on, spangled out in crazy
Yes,
costume with a cape.
She's the one who would have worn the Jewel costume. She would have
Yes.
been Jewel if
Yep.
she had the choice. Which I can see it happening in the future. I can
If
see
by
her
some
putting
way-
the Jewel costume on.
Yeah.
Obviously with a better mask. Because she put that mask on, it was all like,
Yeah, it was not good.
Mm-mm.
no good.
I did like that little throw out to the comic books though. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's Jessica Jones's costume.
Mm-hmm. When she was a hero.
Yeah, in
Yes.
the comic.
Where she could
Yeah.
also fly.
Yeah, they didn't really go with that direction.
Mm-mm.
I kind
Which
of
is
like
okay
that.
with me.
Yeah. She jumps really good though.
Yes.
It's more like guided falling.
Guided falling.
It's really so is walking.
You just described orbital mechanics. Congratulations. You can work for NASA.
Me?
Yes.
No, Jessica.
Oh, Jessica.
It's
Okay.
guided falling. That's.
It is
I
guided
mean,
falling. Just
you,
falling this way.
yeah. You're falling. You just miss.
Yes, every time. Now settle
Yeah.
this, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Sean just said Nuke and Punisher team up in chat. I like that.
I can
Sometimes.
see it. They said these shows are going to start crossing over more, so I could totally see it. And I'm
It
hoping.
has to happen more, like constantly.
Mm-hmm. Like, please, we're coming into season 2 of Daredevil. We're coming up, season 2 of Jessica Jones won't be that far behind it.
Well, I think we also have to look at the fact that these Netflix shows were set up to be an introduction of the second superhero team, the Defenders.
Right, it's the introduction to the Defenders.
Yeah, so their goal has always been to get all these characters together.
Right, so you got the you got the MCU, like the Marvel movies setting up the Avengers, the Netflix series are setting up the Defenders, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is setting up the Secret Warriors and the Inhumans.
Yeah. Everything mishmash, wibbly wobbly.
They're just using that to set up
together.
everything, that they don't want to cover in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
well, I'm hoping we see Jessica in season 2 of Daredevil coming soon.
I love it.
Please reference her. Reference something.
Something. Anything.
I just want someone to, or at least what's his name? What's her neighbor's name? I can't think of it now.
I kept
Malcolm?
getting his name and Ruben's
Malcolm,
name mixed
thank
up.
you.
Malcolm, thank you.
Or like just have Malcolm.
Yes.
Like, hey, you're a lawyer. Hey, I got this agency. And he's like, I have no time for you. I have to go.
Yes, I would
something
love
like that.
any minor character, honestly, from Jessica Jones. I would love to show up.
Or just one episode.
I think Luke.
Like have Matt Murdock hire her to track somebody.
Yeah.
So like we need some information on a client or on a possible client, and we need discretion.
I'm good. That sir. Just give me some scotch.
Yeah, it's like pay me in scotch. I charge by the hour.
Yeah, I mean anything like that, but I don't think Barney's Mr. Simpson's showing up anytime before. I don't see him showing. I don't see him showing up in like season 2 of Daredevil. I think that'll be too soon.
No, they're good. They're gonna focus on the Punisher.
Yeah.
With that,
just let that be its own thing, which would be great.
Oh, that's gonna be amazing.
But
I digress.
Yeah, so I guess that's Simpson. He's a prick.
He's a prick.
And we don't like him.
We love Luke. We don't like Simpson.
Love Luke. Hate Simpson.
Rest in peace, Ruben.
Love Jess.
Now, I'm gonna admit something. This show brought out a slightly dark side of me, and I say that when Ruben died, my first reaction was, fuck, you killed the wrong sibling. But as horrible of a thing is to say, his sister really annoyed me.
Oh my god. Yeah.
No, I understand.
She sucked.
I understand that she must have her own issues and her own demons.
Of course.
But, oh my god.
First off, we have to say, Marvel hates twins.
They really do.
Specifically the male ones.
They really do.
With that out of the way, yeah, no, she was awful. And she was bossy. I know.
You have to take her in context. She was living with a mentally handicapped younger brother. Mm-hmm. And was babying him because she wanted to keep him safe because he didn't know how to make decisions for himself.
I mean,
you do have to look at it through that context.
He was 100% mentally handicapped, right? Like he had a disability?
He was clearly developmentally disabled.
Okay.
I mean, there was no way in hell he wasn't.
All right.
That's my impression. I don't know if you guys felt that way, but I could clearly see he was not.
My impression was
not hitting all of his milestones on time.
All right,
put it that way.
you know what? I can go with that because my initial impression was incredibly sheltered, no social skills whatsoever.
Right, and that's part of it.
I mean, I could see that coming from leading a ridiculously sheltered life and maybe being brought up by extremely bossy people. Because I mean, I can imagine if his sister's like that, his mother must have been very similar. Maybe, possibly.
Yeah,
I don't know, but that was my initial impression. But I like yours better.
right.
I mean, I think it
Because
could be either. I mean, we
I-
don't
I'm
have.
I don't see why it can't be both. I mean, I'm
It
Yeah.
could
pretty
be
sure it
both.
is
Yeah.
because he. I mean, all right. No one's that like that awkward. Well, if he wasn't developmentally delayed, he was autistic to a degree. I mean, like, there's no way in hell like you're just like I made you a bread.
I
I
made you
made her
banana bread.
banana bread
I
because I
love
love
you
her.
because I love her. Yeah, like that's not
All right, you're right.
awkward guy at school not knowing social cues. That's
And all
someone
he
who
knew
doesn't
about her was
understand.
that she was rude and she beat up his sister. That's all he knew about
Right.
her.
Yeah.
Which sounds like something that a 5-year-old would say, right? I mean, that sounds like
Uh,
something that like oh cool, you kicked shit out of my sister. Oh, we should be friends. You know,
but
like
yeah, I made her
he
banana.
speaks as a child.
I made Jessica banana bread. Why the devil would you do that? You know,
Because I love her?
because she had a bad day and I thought it would be nice, or like she's a cool neighbor or something like that. No, it's just because
Yeah,
I love
being
her,
neighborhood.
and that's what got him killed.
Right.
Yep, he could have said anything else.
Almost anything
He
else.
might have been okay.
He probably would have
Well,
been okay.
he could have been Kilgrave to do other stupid things. Who
Yeah, he
knows?
could have been
But
Kilgrave to do other stupid things, but saying I because I love her. That's nope, 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 nope,
that
nope.
was your first
That
mistake.
is not what you say to a superpowered obsessed lunatic.
Yeah, but yeah, I really like. Yeah, I get that his sister was annoying, and I thought she was the most stupid idiot on the planet. But when you really think about it, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense she'd freak out that he was gone and was
Oh, of
desperately trying to
course.
find him, and makes sense that she would be obnoxious because it seems like they were, her brother was probably bullied or abused in some way,
Yeah.
and this is probably not the first place they've lived together on their own. They
Mhm.
probably had to bounce around a lot. So,
She's screaming.
I get
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. Yes.
So it makes it hard to hate her, honestly.
That is the part that makes it hard to hate her, and it's the part that made me feel terrible. If it wasn't
I
for
mean,
that, I would have
that's
been like, "Fuck, kill the bitch." But
that's what I mean. I liked her because she was just so compelling and interesting.
Mm.
But then she was just crazy and rude to people. I mean,
Yes,
a bit like
yes. That
Jessica.
doesn't excuse that.
No, of course not. But I definitely did feel for that emotional part of like, where's my brother?
Mm-hmm.
Just tell me where he is.
Yeah.
Mm. So sad.
Very sad.
Yeah.
God,
Well,
and I think and the reason why there's such a gap between our impressions podcast and now is because, well, we were busy at the time in November. But then once things died down, I was just like sitting on it because this was just such a heavy show.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to sit down and be like, okay, this is what I want to talk about. Because when I thought of think of the show, it's like, all at once, everything.
yeah. There's a lot of depth to all the characters.
A lot.
Even
Indeed.
a lot, and I think that's probably pretty unique
Mm-hmm.
for even for like a Marvel thing. There's been some throwaways, I think. Even in Daredevil, like Foggy's chick he was banging, she had one layer, then they folded it over to two, and I was like, okay, cool, she's done. you know,
Yeah. Yeah, no,
so like,
I see what you mean.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even like the side offbeat characters who were like, who gives a shit about Murray the barkeep, but like everyone had a story, and I think that was the most
Oh
important
my
thing.
God.
And this also turned an eye to like people who were living in like low income as well, because like they weren't living in a nice apartment. None of them were. None of them had a lot of money.
Yeah.
And granted, neither did the whole Murdoch firm, but still,
No.
they were plucky and happy-go-lucky about it anyway. But,
Yeah.
So that was the thing, is you have a show filled with nuanced characters, so it is hard to kind of separate.
And I mean they did this in Daredevil too, but in Jessica Jones they did such a good like portrait of New York. where
Yeah.
there are just these people living in shitty apartments right next to really fancy law firms, and it's right next to each other. And this
And
happens all across, you know, Manhattan mostly because there's so many people in Manhattan, and like the lines between rich and poor and all these different neighborhoods are very, very small.
that's because,
Mhm.
space is a premium.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to try to shove you into the smallest amount of space and charge the most amount of money they can for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like you even see when that that asshole came to hire Jessica in her fancy fucking shoes with her fancy fucking purse and was like, nice apartment.
Yeah, like, looking around, like, so, like, just like,
That man has been trying to get into his apartment, blah blah blah. It's like, shut up. I'm gonna go help him get in his apartment.
it's like,
You can go to
lady,
hell.
you've obviously never left the Hamptons. Like, seriously.
No. I mean,
Oh, BT Dubs, I'm trying to murder you because you're super powered.
dun-it-dun-it-dun-it-dun.
I mean, I think to my own personal situation. I remember, the apartment I was living in for 2 years. You know, for a lot of people I know, it's like, oh, that's expensive what you paid for that apartment. But it was still pretty spacious. 2 bedrooms, a decent living area, and a kitchen. For the amount I was paying, I would have had an 8x8 closet in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, so I can only imagine what Jessica's rent is for where she's living. Like, even though it's, what you would consider most would consider a shitty apartment, she's paying a lot.
It's pretty big.
That's exactly it.
pretty
It's
big.
big. It's pretty big. She is paying a lot more money than you think for that shitty
Oh,
apartment.
yeah. But, I
And
mean,
that,
even still.
like, that's just from someone who's rented before. That's something I feel for.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, it doesn't seem like she was really doing well for herself.
Right, exactly.
She's
Because, I
kind of
mean,
barely getting by.
there are places where the rent I was paying for a 2-bedroom apartment, I could have rented a 4-bedroom house in other states for that kind of
Right.
money. Like, so
I
it's
mean, yeah.
so that
And it doesn't
it's
help.
landing into this whole portrait of New York thing. Like, yeah,
And I think between the two shows so far, you kind of get that. You get a good picture of what city life's really like.
yeah.
No,
And,
not all crime fights for those of you who aren't from New York. So sorry.
Yeah.
Just
And I hate to like point out other shows, but other shows don't show New York, right. I'm
the right
sorry.
way.
They don't.
No.
They
No.
show I'm gonna point out Two Broke Girls. That apartment is not a shitty apartment. And they keep going on like, oh, we're so poor and this is a shitty apartment. That's not a shitty apartment.
That is not a shitty
Nice
apartment
ass
at all. I'm
apartment.
sorry.
No. It's yeah. I mean,
It's a CBS.
it's
It's a primetime CBS show. They use studio lighting for everything.
Yeah. I know.
like you are not wanting for much, my dear.
No.
No, you're really
You're
not.
fine. It's a nice apartment.
You're
fine.
gainfully employed.
And that's the thing is like she's trying to afford this apartment like while nursing a hefty alcohol addiction.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you saw her. She goes to the bodega. She gets the cheapest whiskey they have.
yeah, the shit that makes you fucking blind.
Yeah.
If you're not Jessica Jones, I guess.
That's
So
you know what? She's probably one of the few people who could drink straight methanol and not have to worry about it. I mean,
does not go blind.
that is why wood alcohol makes you go blind. It is methanol, not ethanol.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it is also way cheaper to produce.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
But
Or
I guess I mean, well, never mind. Actually, it's not really relevant.
No, but yeah, I like, referencing other shows for that. I like that. And, I mean, Daredevil, look at Matt Murdock's apartment. That's a nice, big fucking apartment for New York City. But as he put it, that billboard went up, and he got a corner apartment. He got a corner apartment for a hell of a discount.
Oh yeah.
And you know what?
He doesn't see it.
I love it. What does he care about a big, giant, bright billboard? He's blind. He never turns the lights on.
Oh.
It's like, he brings Karen over the first time. Like, oh, right, yeah. Oh, light switch is on that wall, I think.
Probably, I don't know. I've never.
I think it's over there. I don't use it. I don't
Who
know
the
if there's
fuck
lights.
knows?
We have visitors.
I've been
Yeah.
told my apartment is Stark.
Tony Stark.
He's just
Hey.
like eating blueberries in the corner, just like something.
It's like,
But I mean, and the thing is, like, every street shot, those are Manhattan streets. I've been on those streets. I know
yes,
where they are.
they filmed a lot of this on location.
In the street, in the subways, the inside of the train car. They didn't use real MTA trains. I'm just gonna.
No, but
No,
that
they
would be
didn't.
very difficult.
That would have been
But they did
difficult.
use real MTA buses.
They did. They
Yes.
got the buses right.
They got the buses. Those are a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
What I think is hilarious is that they couldn't use the MTA logo. The bus driver had they did a different MTA.
Yeah.
They to do their own MCU version of the MTA logo. I just thought that
Right.
was super funny. They got the
Well,
license for everything else except for the logo.
But you know what? The MTA is so... Take it from a New Yorker. The MTA is so fucking broke right now. They probably were like, yeah, you could use our logo for $100 million.
They're broke and it's their own fucking fault because they
Yeah.
they should not be broke.
No, there's a lot of bullshit there, but
Yeah.
now we're getting into inner New York politics
This is a
here.
podcast about Jessica Jones.
Right.
So who do we have left to talk about?
We've talked about every major character.
We've talked about everybody.
We've gone through Trish, we've gone through Jessica, we've gone through Luke, Hogarth. Well, I mean, we did Hogarth first, and you know what? That's good we got her out of the way.
Yeah.
We went through Malcolm, we went through Ruben. The Ruben's sister.
I'm just super excited for the future, you know?
This,
Yeah.
you know, I only watched
Also, Hope is dead. That made me sad.
Right.
that, yeah.
I was like, because I was just like, oh, good, Hope's dead. And then I was like, realized what I said. I was like, Hope's dead.
But you know what? Hope
He is
had
the
her,
gate and the key. He is the gate and the key.
and it's very
Sorry.
terrible, but like the way she did it, you know, like the whole season, Jessica was keeping, you know, she needs to catch Kilgrave, needs to get him, you know, needs to prove everything exists just to save Hope, get her out of jail or whatever. And Hope kind of made the ultimate, you know, sacrifice there for it. I'm gone. Now you can kill him.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, she
had
and
ample
she
opportunity
wanted
to...
him
Yeah, she had ample opportunity to kill Kilgrave.
Yeah.
The whole, like, he's sitting at that, like, little street cafe. He's looking over in Simpson's direction, like, with an eyebrow raised. Like, what the hell is going on? And all of a sudden, Jessica, like, hey, asshole! He turns and looks, and the look on his face at that point, like, well acted by David Tennant, like,
Oh.
okay, like, why is she walking up to me? What the hell is going on? What, like, you could see, like, the thoughts going through his mind, like, that is totally Jessica Jones. She's walking straight for me. Is she coming to ask me on a date? What's going on? Oh, shit.
There's a
Yeah.
dot in your neck, you dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and talk about acting with no words. That scene.
That's something that's something David Tennant is really good at.
Yeah.
He was,
Yeah, he was excellent.
I mean, for me, like, his most popular role for me before this was Doctor Who. But I mean, oh god, was he terrifying.
This was probably his better role.
This was a much better role.
No, he really sold it.
Yeah.
And at least he wasn't purple.
At least he wasn't purple.
Listen, when he got when his father was shooting him up with the new viral stuff, and he his veins went purple, I was like, oh yes, finally he's gonna have purple skin for the last 2 episodes, and then he comes out and he's normal. I'm like, damn it. I just wanted him to have
Be a little
the last
stupid.
episode. I know.
There we have a purple guy. His name's Vision.
That's true. But just for the last episode, and then he dies, and that's it. You don't have to have a purple face anymore. That's all I wanted.
Alright, I have to take a step back here, because I've seen Age of Ultron. Vision was purple.
Purplish. It's like a maroony
like a
purple. Yeah, like a plummy, pinky purple.
I was way off.
Oh, you're colorblind. Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sometimes purple, like, the purple suit that Kilgrave wore at one point, I could tell that was purple. Okay. A lot of times I can tell. Oh my god, the vision was purplish?
Purplish.
Like a
Like a
I
ready.
need a moment. Like, holy shit, I was way off.
Life-changing color moment, people.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, move
Just had
along.
to shatter that life for you.
Wow.
But
Holy
yeah, I mean,
crap.
I'm excited to see like if this can turn into like more of a like a detective novella kind of like kind of series. Like
It
once
easily
now that
could.
Kilgrave's gone
It
Yeah.
in season
easily
2,
could.
that'd be really fun. Like just to have her solve a crime, and that'd be obviously there's going to be the overarching story of her figuring out where she got her powers from, but
Yeah.
Focus more
just
on the
having
PI
little
side of it.
that'd be fun. I think.
That's something, and I forgot to bring it up in the beginning, which it's good you said now because I wanted to talk about it. Her voiceover. I mentioned it in the Impressions podcast when we had just watched the first episode. I was like, the voiceover is like a noir film. It's like a noir
Do
detective.
that.
She walked in with legs up to here. Obviously, she didn't say that, but it was like that kind of voiceover, and
Yeah.
Do that because it worked. It
it
really
worked so
works.
well. And towards the middle of the show, it was a little less because you were getting into the story and
They
you
set
didn't
the
really
plot
need
up already.
her. Yeah, her
Yeah.
voiceover was there when you needed it, which I appreciate.
Yes.
But I would like a lot more of that because that voiceover really set
Oh,
a
yeah.
good tone, I guess you could say.
Oh,
That's
totally.
Kristen Ritter for you, because was fucking phenomenal.
Yes, she was great.
Mm-hmm.
And she's even said this is the role of her career. Like, she's very happy with this role.
It is.
I'm very happy with it too.
It's one of the coolest characters you could ever want to play.
Yeah.
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 You know?
I was gonna say something else about the voiceover. Oh, but that it was sort of detective-y. It was linked to that detective-y stuff.
Mhm.
And I think at the end it was definitely all those phone calls she was getting. It's definitely setting it up for she's gonna have more work.
That'll be good for her.
Whether or not she chooses to take it all,
She'll need an assistant.
She'll be able to.
she'll need an actual,
She'll need a door.
Yeah.
I was about to say
that
she'll be
poor
able to keep.
door.
I was gonna say she'll be able to keep her door perpetually repaired.
She'll have like a guy on hand.
America's
just-
door
Coming,
guy.
like,
I love the
Huh?
doors fixed, brand new, like shiny doors. Like pay us money, we give you key. Like, fuck this, snap the lock.
yeah, that was so funny. Those guys were hilarious. That was like the
Another
Were they Russian or-
Polish.
Polish. Sorry.
Another good example of New York City life. Like you're gonna have to hire some questionable people to get your shit fixed.
The minor
without
extortions
paying-
of daily life.
The minor extortions of daily life, because if they would have called, an upstanding, non-questionable, like A+ plumber or A+ door repair guy, she'd have paid 3 times as much than what they wanted.
Which is probably the people Trish would have sent.
It's the people Trish would have sent.
The person that
That is the person
Jessica,
Trish did send. The
yeah,
person that she
bashed the door
hospitalized.
into his face.
Oops.
Oh, that was hilarious. It's like, why would you send a man to my house and not tell me? What is wrong with you?
There's a really
Pick up
good
the damn
point.
phone.
I'm sorry. That's just common courtesy to anybody.
Yeah.
You call before you send a random guy to their place of living.
To be fair, Trish did call. Jessica
She
just
did try to call.
You're right.
Rarely picks up the phone.
The only phone that Jessica has is a cell phone. Text it. Hey, Jess, I'm sending a guy to repair your door.
She would have. It was. I think that was when she was out all night or something. And she wouldn't have.
Right, I know, but I mean, you're not gonna, if you ignore a phone call, you can at least, when you look at your phone, see the text.
Mm-hmm.
I love this series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good.
Anything else?
On
we got?
Thursday, next time you see us,
3 days from now,
it's going to be the MCU tie-ins, all the future stuff. More Daredevil. We're gonna talk about more of that stuff.
movies, Netflix series, TV shows, hopefully more.
Tying it all in, talking about what everything means in the bigger scope. So till then, John, where can the people find you?
You can find me on No More No More at the Twiddles.
The Twiddles.
The
Mike,
Twiddles.
what about you?
You can find me down below at Thilligen, right there on the Twitters.
You can find me at Cliomoto on Twitter, Twitch, and Pinterest. Pinterest is where I post most of my Marvel stuff, if you're into that. Obviously, you're here. You probably are. And you can find all of us at ASO TV Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Google+, and right here on YouTube. Follow us for some more podcasts from some of your favorite TV shows, movies, and video games. Until next time, bye-bye.
Toodles.
Bye-bye.